The galaxy was in trouble. For years, the different species who lived among the stars believed they were safe. There were powerful empires, proud kingdoms, and wise old races who thought they knew everything about war and peace. They made rules, held meetings, and watched over the edges of known space, always ready for danger. One day, a terrible warning came. It was not just a normal threat, but a signal that made even the bravest feel cold inside. The enemy was old, older than the oldest, star, and had returned with more power than before. Planets burned in silence. Whole systems vanished without a single survivor to tell what happened. No one had ever seen this kind of destruction. People whispered that the enemy moved like shadows and destroyed everything, but never showed their true face. The Galactic Council, the group that ruled over the galaxy's many species, met quickly. Their great hall, filled with hundreds of voices, echoed with worry and fear. "We need help!" cried the leaders of weaker worlds. "Send the strongest! Call the greatest warriors! Our armies cannot stand alone!" So the council did something they had never done before. They sent a message to every corner of the galaxy, to every world, moon, and outpost. It was a call for help, not just for soldiers or ships, but for anyone brave enough to fight back. The message was clear. The enemy is coming. We cannot stop them alone. If you are able, come to us, join the fight. Together, we might survive. At first, the council waited with hope. They thought the strongest fleets and bravest warriors would come. Everyone believed that the greatest heroes, who had won many battles before, would answer the call. The council waited for ships with powerful guns and famous captains to arrive, ready to fight. But as the days passed, something strange happened. One by one, the powerful empires sent their answers. The first answer came from the largest empire, a proud and ancient people who ruled many stars. Their message was cold and simple. "We will not send help. Our forces must defend our own borders. We cannot risk everything." The second answer came from a race of warriors known for their strength and honor. They too said no. "This fight is too dangerous. Our people are not ready for such an enemy." Others followed, each with their own excuse. Some were afraid, some did not care. Some even hoped the enemy would destroy their old rivals. Soon the council realized the truth. The galaxy's heroes, the ones they thought would save everyone, were not coming. Their hope began to fade. Even the bravest among them felt weak. People talked in the hallways about the end of everything. As the council waited in silence, a new message arrived. It was from a small blue and green planet called Earth, a world that many in the galaxy barely remembered. Earth's people, called humans, had always been different. They were not the strongest, the richest, or the most advanced. In fact, many other species thought humans were too careful, always looking for ways to avoid fights and never taking big risks. Behind their backs, some even called them cowards because they tried to make peace before war. The message from Earth was short and simple. "We have heard your call. We will send a ship to help." The council could not believe it. The great powers said no, but humans, a people so often laughed at, said yes. Some council members shook their heads and even laughed. "What good are the humans?" someone asked. "They are too afraid to fight. They only survive by hiding." "This is not the time for cowards," the message from Earth continued. "We do not have a large fleet to send, but we will send what we can. Our ship will carry a crew trained in rescue, survival, and defense. We hope to help in any way possible." As days passed, the council grew more desperate. Finally, the humans' ship arrived. It was nothing like the giant warships of the empires. Instead, it was small and simple, built for speed and rescue, not for big battles. The human crew, led by a captain named Elena, stepped out onto the council's landing platform. Elena and her team looked ordinary, wearing simple uniforms and carrying only a few supplies. They stood together, calm but serious, while the other species watched with mixed feelings. The council's leader, an old alien with silver eyes, greeted them. "Welcome, humans. Thank you for coming. But do you really believe you can help? The enemy is strong. Your ship is not a warship." Elena nodded. "We know we are not the strongest, but we could not sit by and do nothing. We came because you asked. We believe there is always something we can do, even if it is just to help people survive." The council was silent. Some aliens whispered among themselves. A warrior from a reptilian world snorted. "They only came because they are foolish or desperate. Or maybe they want to run away when the fighting starts." But the humans paid no attention to the insults. They started to work right away. Elena and her crew asked questions about the enemy, how it moved, where it attacked, and what survivors saw. They listened to the stories of refugees, wrote down every detail, and began to make plans. The humans visited the wounded, comforted the frightened, and shared what little food and medicine they had brought. In the days that followed, the humans did not try to act like heroes. Instead, they stayed quiet, moving through the council's halls, always listening, always trying to help. Some of the younger aliens watched with interest, noticing that the humans always said yes when someone asked for help, even if it was something small, a lost child, a sick old man, a broken machine. The humans helped them all. Soon, a rumor began to spread. Some said the humans were not really cowards, but clever. Others said they were just careful, always planning their next move. One alien doctor even told her friend, "I think the humans know something we don't. They never rush, but they never quit either." Still, many laughed at them. "Let the humans try," said one proud general. "They will run when the real fighting starts." But the enemy was getting closer. The council could feel the fear growing every day. The people waited for a hero, but all they saw were the humans, quiet, helpful, and never leaving, no matter what others said. One night, as Elena looked out at the stars from the window of her small room, she thought about Earth. She missed home, but she knew why she was here. She whispered to herself, "Sometimes you don't have to be the strongest. Sometimes you just have to show up." As the enemy drew near and the council's hope faded, the only ones who had answered the call were the humans. And soon, the whole galaxy would learn what that really meant. When the human ship landed at the council station, many aliens watched from a distance. Some stared out of curiosity, others out of doubt. The humans did not come in a powerful fleet, only in a single modest ship named Hope's Promise. Its metal hull was scratched, and its engines were not as shiny as those of the bigger alien ships. It looked out of place among the great vessels docked nearby. Inside the council's meeting hall, the mood was heavy. Delegates from many worlds argued about what to do next. The enemy had struck again, this time on a planet called Elvari. Reports came in. Whole cities had vanished overnight, and no one could explain how it happened. Panic grew stronger. Some aliens whispered about running away, others about hiding their own planets. In the middle of this chaos, Captain Elena and her team entered the hall. She walked quietly, her steps calm, her eyes focused. Beside her was Sam, her second in command, who always wore a gentle smile even in hard times. The rest of the team followed, carrying small packs filled with supplies, medical kits, food, and tools for repair. A tall insect-like ambassador named Zex looked down at them and said, "So these are the humans? I thought you would send more soldiers." Elena bowed her head slightly and answered, "We are not here to be soldiers. We are here to help in any way we can." The council leader spoke again. "The enemy destroys everything in its path. Our armies are afraid." "What do you offer that is different?" Elena replied softly. "We offer to listen, to learn, and to do what others will not." Her words confused some and annoyed others. A lizard warrior laughed and said loudly, "The humans are afraid of fighting. They will hide under tables when trouble comes." Elena only smiled and answered, "Maybe we are afraid, but sometimes fear teaches us how to survive and protect others. We do not run from helping." While the council argued, the human crew went to work. Sam led a team to the medical wing, where wounded aliens from the last attack lay in pain. The doctors from other worlds were busy and tired. Sam offered to help, and at first, the alien doctors hesitated. But soon they saw that Sam and the humans worked with care and skill, bandaging wounds and calming frightened patients. Another team member, Maya, visited the refugee quarters. There, young aliens cried for their missing parents, and old ones sat in silence, lost in their thoughts. Maya knelt beside them, telling gentle stories of Earth, of green fields and blue skies, and shared simple games. Slowly, the sad faces began to smile again, if only for a little while. Even outside the station, humans tried to help. They fixed broken machines in the cargo bay, cleaned mess halls, and repaired leaking water pipes. Some aliens found this odd. "Why do they bother with small problems?" one asked. But a wise old scientist named Laurel watched closely. She said to her friends, "Look at the humans. They help where they are needed, not where they will be noticed. Perhaps there is strength in that." As days passed, the humans listened to stories from refugees about the enemy. Each tale was different, but all spoke of fear. Some said the enemy used darkness and shadows. Others said it turned machines against their own people. Elena wrote down every detail and shared it with the council. She drew maps of attack patterns and pointed out weak spots in the enemy's movements. Few paid attention, but a handful of young council aides began to listen. One evening, an alarm sounded. A ship carrying survivors from Elvari was stranded just outside the station, trapped by a strange energy field. The council panicked. "We cannot send fighters," someone said. "The enemy could be waiting." Before anyone else could argue, Elena stepped forward. "We will go," she said. "Our ship is small and fast. We know how to sneak in and out of danger." The council hesitated. The leader said, "It is too risky. You may not survive." Elena answered, "We are willing to try." The humans rushed back to Hope's promise. Sam checked the engines. Maya prepared medical kits, and Elena gave orders with calm confidence. The crew moved like they had practiced this 100 times. Soon, the ship slipped quietly into space, heading toward the stranded vessel. As they approached, the enemy's energy field shimmered in the darkness. It looked like a wall of blue fire. Elena studied the readings and remembered a detail from the refugees' stories. The enemy's shields were strong, but not perfect. They flickered when hit with certain frequencies. "Sam, adjust the comms to this signal," Elena said, pointing at her notes. Sam worked quickly, tuning the ship's broadcast to the right frequency. Suddenly, a small gap appeared in the energy wall. Hope's promise shot through, dodging broken satellites and floating debris. Inside the stranded ship, dozens of frightened survivors waited. The humans worked fast. Maya and 2 others rushed inside with stretchers and supplies, while Sam and Elena coordinated from the bridge. The rescue was tense. Enemy drones tried to block the way, but the humans used clever tricks, turning off all lights to move in the shadows, creating decoys with broken escape pods, and guiding survivors quietly through secret passages. The humans did not fire a single shot, but they managed to get everyone to safety. When Hope's promise returned to the station, there was a crowd waiting. For the first time, aliens from many worlds cheered for the humans. The survivors told stories of bravery and kindness. "The humans never gave up," a small child said. "They found us when everyone else was too scared." The council was surprised. Some still called it luck, but others started to see the truth. The humans had saved lives by using their heads, not just their weapons. Their careful nature once, called cowardice, had kept them alive and helped others too. After the rescue, Elena and her team did not boast. They went back to work, helping the injured and comforting the scared. But slowly, more council aides and young soldiers began to ask the humans for advice. They wanted to learn how to avoid traps, how to use the enemy's weaknesses, and how to rescue those left behind. Even the proud lizard warrior who had laughed before came to Elena. "Teach me," he said quietly, "how to do what you did out there." Elena nodded. "We will teach anyone who wants to help." Meanwhile, the enemy's attacks grew worse. Worlds near the council station sent desperate messages. "Please, send us help! The enemy is coming!" The council was afraid, but now they turned to Elena and her crew. "What should we do?" the leader asked. Elena spoke gently. "We need to work together. If we share what we know, if we use our strengths wisely, we can protect more lives. Not every fight needs big guns. Sometimes the best weapon is not giving up." Hope began to grow among the council. Aliens from many species, even those who doubted before, started to plan together. Small teams practiced rescue drills with the humans, learning to trust caution and clever ideas. The galaxy was still in danger, but now, for the first time, there was a feeling that maybe, just maybe, they could fight back. Not with the strongest weapons, but with hope, teamwork, and the courage to keep trying even when afraid. And so, as new attacks drew near, the only ones who had answered the call led the way. The humans were not cowards. They were survivors, helpers, and quiet heroes, and the galaxy was beginning to notice. The days passed, and the council station was never quiet. Messages from all over the galaxy kept coming in, bringing news of fear and disaster. Every hour, the enemy destroyed another colony, another city, another hope. People said the enemy never spoke, never gave a warning, never showed its real face. It simply arrived, left nothing behind, and then vanished like a bad dream. Everyone waited for the next attack, hearts full of worry. Inside the station, the mood was changing. The humans, once called cowards, were now seen in a new light by many. Captain Elena and her crew did not act like heroes, but everyone could see their calm courage. The humans were always busy, always planning and always helping. Elena spent her time moving from room to room, talking to refugees and listening to their stories. She wrote everything in her small notebook, never missing a detail. The others noticed this, and some started to copy her habit, keeping records of what they learned. One of the younger council aides, a small bird-like alien named Lyra, watched Elena carefully. She wanted to understand what made the humans so different. One day, Lyra finally asked, "Why do you write everything down? Don't you trust your memory?" Elena smiled kindly and said, "When we write things, we can share them with others, and sometimes the smallest detail can save a life. Humans learned long ago that knowledge is the best tool." Lyra nodded and started her own notes, hoping to help even a little. While Elena listened and wrote, Sam worked in the station's control room. He made friends with the alien technicians, sharing simple tricks he learned on Earth about repairing systems. With few resources, Sam showed them how to use common materials in new ways. When an enemy attack disabled the main communications, it was Sam's idea that got the backup channels working again using only broken parts and tape. Aliens from many worlds started to visit the humans more often. They brought questions, problems, and even small gifts as thanks. Maya was especially popular among the young refugees. She organized games, taught songs, and made the children laugh. For a moment, the fear and pain of loss faded from their faces, replaced by smiles. Despite all this, not everyone was convinced. Some council members still whispered, "They are only lucky, these humans. The real test will come soon." That test came sooner than anyone wanted. One night, alarms echoed through the station. The enemy had appeared near a planet called Verax, home to millions of peaceful farmers and scientists. The council was thrown into chaos. Some demanded all ships attack at once, others wanted to run and hide. Elena stood up and said, "We cannot save everyone by fighting head-on. We do not have the numbers or the weapons. But if we act smart, we can save lives." The council's leader, with worry in his eyes, asked, "What do you mean?" Elena explained. "The enemy is strong but not perfect. It always attacks the main cities, but leaves smaller settlements untouched at first. We can sneak rescue teams into those areas and lead people out before the enemy finds them." Some council members doubted this plan, but others remembered the humans' earlier success. In the end, a few teams volunteered to follow Elena's lead. They practiced moving quietly, carrying only what they needed, and using maps, the humans, created from refugees' stories. As the rescue began, Hope's promise led the way. The humans showed the volunteers how to avoid enemy patrols and how to hide from the machines. They taught everyone how to stay calm when afraid and how to help those too weak to walk. The work was hard and dangerous. The enemy's drones moved through the cities, searching for anyone left behind. Sometimes the teams had to hide in dark tunnels for hours, waiting for the enemy to pass. Maya held the children close, telling stories in whispers so their fear would not turn to panic. In one ruined building, Sam found a group of scientists trapped behind fallen walls. He used his knowledge to create a signal using broken radios and a metal pipe, guiding the rescue team to their hiding place. When the scientists were finally safe, one of them asked Sam, "Why did you come back for us? Even our own people had left." Sam answered, "Humans believe you never leave anyone behind if you can help it. You matter, just like everyone else." Meanwhile, Elena and Lyra moved quietly through a neighborhood, following the map. They found an elderly couple who refused to leave their home. "We are too old," said the woman. "Let the young escape." Elena knelt beside her and said, "Sometimes the oldest stories hold the answers. You still have wisdom to give. Come with us and help guide the others." The couple agreed, and soon their words gave strength to the younger refugees as they escaped together. The rescue teams faced many close calls. Twice, enemy machines nearly caught them, but quick thinking and careful planning saved them each time. The humans taught everyone that being afraid did not mean you stopped moving forward. It just meant you needed to be careful and brave at the same time. After hours of dangerous work, the teams reached the edge of the city. Hope's promise circled above, waiting to pick them up. As the sun rose over the ruined planet, the first wave of survivors boarded the ship, tired but alive. When they returned to the council station, the mood was different. This time, the cheers were louder and the smiles were real. News of the rescue spread quickly, and soon, more and more council members wanted to learn the humans' methods. Even those who doubted before came to listen and ask questions. The council leader met with Elena and her crew. "You have shown us a new way," he said quietly. "Not through power, but through care and cleverness. We are grateful." Elena answered, "It was not just us. Everyone who helped, everyone who listened, made a difference. If we stand together, we can save more lives." The galaxy's view of humans changed more with each day. Stories spread to distant worlds, stories of how humans, once called cowards, became the hope of the council. The word coward lost its meaning, replaced by wise and brave. More volunteers joined the humans, eager to learn and to help. But the enemy was learning too. During the rescue, it had noticed the humans' success. Its attacks grew more focused, more dangerous. The enemy started to set traps and sent new machines to block escape routes. The council realized that the humans were now the enemy's main target. Still, Elena and her team did not stop. They studied every attack, found new ways to move, and shared their ideas with everyone. Together, the council and the humans prepared. for the next wave, determined to protect every life they could. In quiet moments, Elena thought about the journey that brought her here. She remembered how people once laughed at humans, calling them cowards. Now, they were teachers, leaders, and friends. Elena knew the fight was far from over, but she felt hope growing, not just in her, but in the whole galaxy. The council station grew busier every day, corridors filled with new faces, refugees, volunteers, and young soldiers from many worlds, all wanting to help or learn from the humans. People who once doubted now followed the humans' example, asking questions, taking notes, and practicing rescue drills. The old ideas about humans were disappearing, replaced by respect and even quiet admiration. The enemy's attacks were getting worse. Whole planets sent desperate signals, begging for help. Sometimes the council's ships arrived too late, but when humans led the rescue teams, more people survived. Every success brought more hope, but also more danger. The enemy, now aware of the humans' clever ways, set new traps and tried to hunt them directly. One cold morning, the council's main alert sounded. The enemy fleet was moving toward the station itself. The news spread fast. Fear swept through the halls like a strong wind. Some council members wanted to run, others froze in panic. Only a few remembered what the humans had taught them. Elena called her team together. Sam, Maya, and the others stood in a small circle as she spoke quietly. The enemy is coming for us this time, but we are not alone anymore. Look around. There are hundreds ready to help. Sam nodded, his eyes tired, but determined. We know the enemy's tricks now, we have plans, and we have friends. Maya added, we have to keep people calm. If fear takes over, the enemy will win without even fighting. The council leader, seeing the humans gather their teams, called for a meeting in the grand hall. We must defend the station, he said, but we cannot win with weapons alone. What do you advise, Captain Elena? Elena spoke, her voice steady and strong. We have learned from every attack. The enemy expects us to fight the same way every time. Instead, we will surprise them. We will use what we know. Evacuation routes, decoys, and hidden tunnels. Our goal is not just to fight, but to protect everyone. The hall was silent. Then Lyra, the bird-like aide, stood up and said, the humans saved my family. I will follow their plan. Other volunteers spoke up too. Soon dozens stood ready to help. The humans led them through the station, showing them secret ways to move, how to guide people quietly, and where to set up medical points. As the enemy fleet approached, the station's alarms blared. Through the windows, dark ships filled the sky. Everyone on the station felt a cold fear, but the humans and their new friends stood their ground. They divided into small teams, each with a clear job. Some would help people escape to safe rooms, others would repair damaged systems, and a few would watch for enemy traps. Sam stayed in the control room surrounded by screens. He worked with alien engineers to make sure communications stayed open and security doors worked. Maya ran between the medical stations, helping doctors and calming the frightened. Elena and Lyra led the main evacuation. They moved through crowded halls, guiding families to hidden lifts and safe tunnels. Stay together, Elena said over and over. Help each other. You are not alone. Outside, the enemy began its attack. Energy blasts hit the station's shields, shaking the walls. Enemy drones slipped through cracks, searching for people to trap. But the humans' plans worked. Teams guided civilians away from danger, used old maintenance shafts to avoid traps, and shut down doors to block enemy machines. At one checkpoint, Maya found a group of children hiding behind a broken crate. She knelt and said softly, "It's okay. We will get you to safety." Her calm voice made the children trust her, and they followed her quietly through the chaos. In the power room, Sam and 2 engineers fought to keep the generators running. Enemy drones crawled through the vents, but Sam used a trick he learned. Back on Earth, filling the vents with harmless but sticky foam. The drones got stuck, and the generators kept working. The enemy seemed endless, but so did the courage of the people on the station. For every door the enemy broke, a human or their friend was there to hold it for a few more seconds. Every time a group of civilians reached safety, it was because someone remembered what the humans had taught. In the middle of the attack, Elena's group was trapped in a corridor by a collapsing ceiling. She took a deep breath and looked at Lyra. "Do you remember the map we made?" Lyra nodded quickly. "There's a maintenance shaft 2 doors down." With calm teamwork, they cleared debris and led the group through the narrow shaft, crawling through darkness, but never giving up. At the other end, they found a group of volunteers helping more refugees. Together, they guided everyone to a hidden, safe room. The enemy, frustrated by the station's defenses, sent more drones and tried new tricks. But now dozens of teams across the station worked together like one big family. They shared signals, used secret codes, and trusted each other. Eventually, the enemy's main force broke through to the command center. The council leader and his aides prepared for the worst. But as the doors started to fall, a surprise awaited. The enemy, humans, had left behind false signals and moving decoys, tricking the machines into empty rooms. When the enemy realized its mistake, it was too late. The real council had already escaped to a backup control room, safe and ready to lead the next phase. Outside the station, Allied ships joined the defense. Inspired by the humans, crews from many worlds used clever tactics instead of just fighting head-on. Some set up fake targets, others jammed enemy signals, and others worked together to save damaged ships. The battle lasted for hours. There were losses and moments of fear, but the station held. As the enemy ships finally pulled back, the survivors in the station looked at each other with relief and pride. They had done what many thought was impossible. After the attack, the council leader spoke to everyone over the loudspeakers. "Today we did not win because we were the strongest. We won because we stood together, listened, and learned from each other. I thank the humans and everyone who followed their example." In the days that followed, the mood changed on the station. The old rumors about cowardly humans were gone. Everywhere, people talked about courage, not just in battle, but in helping others, thinking carefully and never giving up. Elena and her team did not celebrate. They walked the halls, checking on the wounded, listening to stories, and fixing what was broken. Wherever they went, people stopped to thank them, to shake their hands, or just to smile. In a quiet corner, Lyra told Elena, "I used to think courage meant never being afraid. Now I see it means helping others, even when you are scared." Elena nodded and replied, "That is what humans have always believed. Fear is natural, but it cannot stop us from doing what is right." The enemy was not finished. Everyone knew it would attack again. But now, the station was stronger, not just in defenses, but in heart. Species who once argued now worked side by side, sharing ideas and guarding each other's backs. The lessons of the humans spread across the galaxy: care, caution, and courage, all mixed together. As the stars shone outside the windows, Captain Elena looked out and whispered, "We may not be the strongest, but we are not alone. And that is enough." The galaxy was changing, and for the first time, hope was stronger than fear. The station slowly returned to life after the enemy attack. Every corridor was filled with the sounds of repair, tools clanking, wires sparking, and people talking in low voices. Everywhere, someone was fixing, cleaning, or helping another. The scars from the battle would take time to heal, but the fear that once ruled the station was mostly gone. Captain Elena walked through the halls with her team. Sam checked systems in the control room. Maya visited the medical wing, and Lyra, aide to the council but now almost an honorary member of the human crew, helped organize supplies for those who had lost everything, even people who never thought They would work together were now side by side, united by one goal, to never let the enemy win so easily again. Each day brought news from other parts of the galaxy. Stories spread of new attacks, but also of brave rescues. Small teams, trained by the humans, slipped past enemy patrols to save stranded families. Sometimes entire planets worked together to build new defenses. The lessons of care and caution, the lessons once mocked as cowardly, were now the foundation for hope everywhere. The council called a special meeting in the Grand Hall. All the main species were present, even those who had once refused to help. The council leader stood at the center, silver eyes shining with pride and gratitude. Today, we are not the same as we were, the leader began. We have faced the worst darkness, but we did not face it alone. We were saved by those who listened, who helped, and who refused to give up. We owe much to the humans, who answered our call when others did not. As the leader spoke, Elena felt all eyes on her and her crew. Some aliens smiled, some bowed, and some just watched in silent respect. It was a strange feeling. They had not come for glory, only to help. The leader continued, "We invite Captain Elena to speak." Elena stepped forward, her hands shaking a little. She looked around at the crowd, aliens of every shape and color, faces filled with hope, fear, and wonder. "Thank you," she said softly. "We did not come because we were brave. We came because someone needed help. Humans do not always have the strongest ships or the biggest armies. We have made many mistakes in our own history. But we know that when people stand together, they can face anything." She paused, remembering all the faces they had rescued and all the friends they had made. "We taught what we know, how to listen, how to be careful, how to never leave anyone behind. But you all taught us too. You taught us how strong hope can be, even in the darkest times." The room was silent for a moment, then applause echoed through the hall. It was not loud, but it was real. A simple thank you from a galaxy that now understood the meaning of courage. After the meeting, life moved forward. New teams were formed, mixing humans with members from many species. These teams traveled across the galaxy, teaching rescue skills, building safe places, and planning defenses together. The enemy still attacked, but more and more the attacks were stopped and fewer lives were lost. The galaxy had learned not to wait for heroes, but to become heroes in their own way. One day, a message arrived from Earth. The humans' leaders asked for a report on the mission. Elena gathered her team and wrote, "The galaxy was afraid, but we found hope. We did not win every battle, but we changed many hearts. Our friends here are strong, smart, and full of courage. We are proud to stand with them." Maya, always gentle, added, "The smallest kindness can change a life. I have seen it with my own eyes." Sam wrote, "We were called cowards, but caution and care saved more lives than any weapon. We learned that the true enemy is not just out there in the darkness, but also in giving up hope." Lyra, now speaking for many worlds, sent her own message home. Humans are not cowards. They are teachers, helpers, and friends. Their courage is quiet, but it is stronger than fear. As weeks passed, even worlds that once refused to join now sent help. Supplies, doctors, and rescue teams arrived at the station. Leaders from distant stars sent messages of respect to the humans and their allies. The enemy, seeing the galaxy so united, began to lose ground. Its attacks grew less effective. Some thought the enemy was growing weaker. Others believed it was just learning to fear a united galaxy. During one final attack, the enemy sent its largest fleet to destroy a peaceful colony. The humans and their new allies worked together to create decoys, traps, and escape routes. As the enemy ships fell into the traps and the last group of civilians escaped, the enemy retreated in confusion. This time, the enemy lost more ships than ever before. The galaxy cheered, not just for victory, but for proving that hope and teamwork could win. After the battle, people gathered on the station's observation deck to watch the stars. Old enemies now sat side by side, sharing stories and laughing together. The humans sat quietly, happy to just listen. Lyra turned to Elena and asked, "Will you stay?" Elena smiled. Humans never stay in one place for long. But we will always answer the call when someone needs us. Maya added, "We leave something behind, our knowledge, our kindness. Those will last longer than any ship." Sam looked at the group and said, "We are all changed. The galaxy is safer now, not because the enemy is gone, but because we know how to stand together." Soon the time came for the human ship to leave. People from every world came to say goodbye. There were hugs, handshakes, and even a few tears. The council leader gave Elena a small crystal star, saying, "You brought us light when we needed it most. Thank you." As Hope's promise lifted off, its engines glowing in the night, the station's lights flashed in a simple pattern, a message of thanks and friendship sent out across the stars. From the window of the ship, Elena watched as the station grew smaller, but her heart was full. She knew that the galaxy would remember the lesson, that sometimes the ones called cowards are just people who care deeply, think carefully, and never stop trying to help. And so, in the quiet after the storm, the humans returned home, not as heroes of war, but as heroes of hope. Their story became legend, passed from world to world, teaching everyone that courage is not always about fighting the hardest, but about standing together and never giving up. And when the next call for help echoed through the stars, everyone remembered. Only the cowardly humans answered the call and changed the galaxy forever.